right, everybody, it's time for another episode of This, That.
And the other.
I'm Joey.
I'm Ian.
And today we got to talk to Mr. Beau Brandon, who is a member of the band Withered. He's their drummer. He's been in the band for 18 years now. He's also an instructor at the School of Rock over in Columbus. It's Columbus, Ohio? Not Cleveland. Columbus, right?
Columbus.
Yeah, I think I keep wanting to say Cleveland for some reason. Because I immediately just think of Cleveland when I think of Ohio. But to me, Ohio's all the same, so it doesn't really matter. But
are you a Browns fan?
Am I a Browns fan? I liked the Browns when Baker Mayfield was there. I'm not going to lie. And I think Myles Garrett's an incredible fucking football player.
It was just a thing. I didn't know if like.
Yeah, see, if you're gonna mention sports, I'm gonna get off the rails, Ian.
No, I know. That's why I was asking if like the Columbus reference in Cleveland thing was kind of because of the Browns or something like that.
I think maybe that's what I immediately think of when I think of Ohio, because all their teams are from Columbus. I mean, Cleveland.
Perfect.
But no, also with Beau, we got to talk about heavy music and metal and hardcore, which is one of my favorite subjects, one of my favorite genres of music outside of hip hop. So anytime I get to talk to somebody about that, I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I mean, it was really great getting to talk to Beau about like his upbringing and what got him into like heavy music and all that kind of stuff. But I have to ask, like, what essentially got you into heavy music? Like, what was the thing that like kind of blew it off the roof for you?
So I guess when we talk about heavy music, you know, like nu metal was fucking huge when we were kids, and like to our parents and everything, like Korn and all that shit was like heavy music, which it was. It is heavy music. I remember when Limp Bizkit's Chocolate Starfish came out, I got that, and that was a pretty heavy record. Or it was just loud, you know. It's a loud record. Absolutely. But I think I was in like the 5th or 6th grade, probably 6th grade, because I think it was 2002, and Hatebreed's Perseverance had came out, and on MTV2 they would constantly play commercials promoting the album, and also like playing snippets of the I Will Be Heard music video. So I somehow talked my mom into buying me that album. I think we were at Target or something with my sister, and we were doing like back to school shopping, and it was one of those things where she was just like overstimulated, and everything you'd give her, she'd be like, all right, fine, fuck it. And, you know, she'd just buy it. You know, she didn't really like look at the album or anything. She was just
didn't
like, all right,
notice
fine,
the words
you know?
Hatebreed on the cover.
Yeah, didn't notice the big ass parental advisory either. That's what I loved about Target, is they would put their parental advisories on there, but it would be the stickers so you could fucking peel it off, you know? But then record labels got smart to that, and they started printing them on the album cover instead
on
of
the
just putting
sleeve.
a sticker on there. But yeah, so Hatebreed's Perseverance, I guess, was my first like hardcore record, and I thought it was amazing. And then that kind of like made me dive into more aggressive sounding music. And then in 2003, I'll never understand how I talked my mom into not just letting me go, but to dropping me off at the Tabernacle to see Hatebreed, Arch Enemy, and Slayer when I was 12 years old.
What?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. Just dropped you off.
Just drop me off, dude. She would do that all, and then not only that, like she would do that like at shows because I had already been playing music at that time. I kind of was always a little bit too big for the age that I actually was. I was doing things that I was way too young to experience, but you know, it was one of those things like my mom would drop me off. She'd be like, all right, you need to be right here at this time. I'm going to be here to pick you up. Like, I don't care if the show's over or not. You're going to be here. I'm going to pick you up and take you home. So like she would do that at the Masquerade and everything. And I guess I don't know if she knew who Slayer was or if she really like was that interested in digging into it. But yeah, I got to see Hatebreed, Slayer, and Arch Enemy when I was 12 fucking years old at the Tabernacle. And then I saw Hatebreed a couple years later at the Masquerade with Most Precious Blood. And that was a fucking insane show too. So I started going to hardcore shows at a pretty young age, but yeah. I mean, dude, when you're 12 years old and there's a drunk ass, grown ass man who's trying to fight you in the fucking pit, like you grow up really fucking fast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Also, what a fucking asshole for trying to fight a 12-year-old.
But at the same time, I was this size at 12 years old. So
I mean,
you know?
Yeah, but obviously, I mean, you look like a fucking 12-year-old. You're always gonna look like, if you're 12 years old, you're gonna look like a 12-year-old. So
but I mean, you started going to shows when you were young. You were like 11 or 12 when you saw Marilyn Manson, right?
Yeah, I guess I was like 13 or 14. Possibly.
Yeah, see, it's really not that
It was the
far
mechanical
off,
end, but also like I didn't get dropped off.
Oh, okay.
I went with who actually got me into a lot of the music when I was younger and like took me, I would say, pretty much to my first shows ever.
Yeah.
Was
That was
my
your uncle, right?
Was
Yeah,
my
yeah.
uncle, yeah. So like shout out CJ for fucking bringing me up in
Hell yeah, man.
the craziest, coolest fucking atmosphere you possibly could have. But it was always a cool thing because like there would be times because I would spend time with my mom in Georgia and then time in Maryland with my dad.
Yeah.
So like, and there would be times when it was like, oh, Ian's coming up for the summer and there's these shows in XYZ.
Mm-hmm.
And my uncle would always include me with his friends who were like fucking 6 years older, or however older they were than me. And I was just this little.
Wait, how much older
punk-ass
is your
kid.
cousin than? I mean, your uncle than you?
My uncle?
Yeah.
Damn, that's a fucking good question.
Because I think I have an uncle who's relatively close. I think my uncle was only like 15 or 16 when I was born. So like as adults, we're really not that far apart, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's not too much older than I am. I would maybe. Okay, this is gonna sound terrible and whatever, but like I know he graduated in '96.
Oh, okay.
So I'll put it that way.
Okay.
So it was kind of like I got invited to or brought along to all these things with my uncle. So like going to see Marilyn Manson. I got to see the Summer Sanitarium tour in 2000 at Ravens Stadium.
Yeah.
And it was sick because like just all these things that like, yes, I love the music and all of that kind of stuff, but like I don't know if I would have been able to experience that if it wasn't for my uncle and his friends and
but also like that's almost the same experience as me, and people like it's so unsung how important it is because we both come from single mom households, you know, like you ended up having a stepdad. I didn't. But like having somebody else, like another adult figure in your life that's just like lets you explore your interests and like shows up for you and takes you to important events and stuff. Yeah. That's so critical.
I mean,
especially
even, like,
when you come from a divorced home, you know?
My stepdad even ended up taking me to shows. Like my stepdad took me to see, actually, I think the first time I ever saw Blink-182, first time, second time, one or the other. My stepdad took me to see it was Blink-182, Newfound Glory, and Midtown at Lakewood, and like my stepdad,
hell yeah, dude.
Stepdad took me to see it, and it was.
Did he
so
have a
sick.
good time though?
I would have. I mean, I would hope so. I would hope so, but also like, I don't. If you enjoy music whatsoever, it might not be the best music, but if people are fucking enjoying it around you, like, I mean, you can't help.
It's hard not to have a good time at like a good live atmosphere, you know what I mean?
Of course.
Like even if the music's not good. Like me and my wife, we went to go see Post Malone recently, and I like Post Malone, but he had some openers for him that I didn't care for, but still the energy was great. It was fine. It was good. It was enjoyable just because of the energy of the crowd. Yeah. So that can make or break anything, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, 100%. And I mean, I think also when it comes to like openers of bands, like I remember there was one time like I was a huge fan of the band Orgy growing up.
Yeah.
And like I remember not only thinking they were like just like one of the hardest bands ever, which like going back now, like they are hard, but like
I mean, dude, that whole like industrial wave is just, I mean,
it was sick.
It's awesome, dude.
Yes,
and because of that era, Nine Inch Nails is still to this day one of my favorite bands of all time,
and one of the biggest bands of all time.
Dude, but honestly, Nine Inch Nails is one of the greatest bands ever. They are.
Yes.
They are so
but
they
like,
are talented
so
beyond anything else.
Oh,
dude.
any. I mean, there's a reason they're doing the Neutron album.
Yeah,
let's put it that way.
Yeah,
like if you have to follow up Daft Punk, who better to do it than Nine Inch Nails?
I mean, he also did Soul. I don't know if you ever heard the soundtrack for Soul, but he fucking killed it, dude. Trent Reznor is an incredible musician, dude.
Of course. But going back to like what I was saying though about like openers and stuff like that, I remember seeing Orgy one time, and I believe it was at the 930 Club in Baltimore. Okay. I believe. But they had this opener band, and the name of the band was the Toilet Boys.
Oh, okay.
And I just
Okay.
remember they had like they had like a cross-dressing lead singer, and I
Mhm.
remember when I was a kid, I was just like, that is the fucking coolest thing ever. I was
Yeah.
like, just mind blown. And this was the opener. I mean, there was probably 50 people in the crowd,
Hmm.
but me as like this like 12, 13-year-old kid, I was like fucking losing it, just going crazy. And like,
Yeah.
it was the opener of the band. It wasn't even the
Dude,
main band.
speaking of like weird band names, do you remember the band Jack Off Jill?
What? No.
There was this band called Jack Off Jill, and I bought one of their T-shirts somewhere at the mall. It was either I don't think it was Hot Topic because I don't think Hot Topic would have carried that, so I think it might have been Spencer's. But it was one of those T-shirts I bought, and then I never saw again. So I'm pretty sure my mom disposed of it.
I mean, with those kinds of letters and that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
I mean, what
I mean,
kind of?
it looked like ransom letters, and then there were just like these weird looking dolls on the shirt.
Okay,
And it just
so
said "Jack
funny.
Off Jill."
Okay, but so it's pretty funny you say like your mom got rid of a T-shirt. So like, and it's funny you referenced the Marilyn Manson thing before. Like going back to that, like I remember my mom like I went to go see Marilyn Manson on the Mechanical Animals tour,
Yeah,
and I remember I got a
where
Marilyn
he was
Manson
wearing that
T-shirt.
bodysuit, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And I remember I got a Marilyn Manson T-shirt, and it was literally like, okay, imagine the Black Flag shirt, 4 bars, right?
Yeah.
But it was Marilyn Manson, but it was all like Marilyn Manson done. It had no like.
Mhm.
I didn't get the reference until I got way older, which I don't even know if it was a fucking Black Flag reference. Maybe he was like punching at Henry Rollins or something like that. I don't know.
Maybe.
But like looking at the shirt nowadays, it's almost like Marilyn Manson was like, I'm gonna do my own like Black Flag shirt. But
Mhm.
like I thought it was the coolest shirt. It was rad. It was a tour T-shirt, and I was a kid, and I was like, I can't wait to wear this to school. It's gonna piss everybody off, like
Yeah,
being
yeah.
that kind. Because back then, like it would piss principals and
I mean,
teachers
well,
off to
nowadays
see
a
a
Marilyn Manson shirt will piss everybody off. So
That shirt that I'm talking about is about $250 on eBay, by the way.
yeah. Well, see, that's the thing is
But
like
my mom took it and hid it. She hid
that's
it.
what I was. That's exactly what I was gonna say. My mom was slick with it. Like if I had like a CD or like a toy or a comic book or like a fucking shirt that she didn't like, I would just never find it again. I don't know
Oh,
what
I
she
found
would
it.
do with it.
I
would
found it
just never
later.
Find it again.
I found it later, and I think it was like in her closet or some shit. And I remember taking it, and I would like be on the school bus, and I'd like change my shirt on the school bus and be wearing the Marilyn Manson shirt.
There was one time where like I think for the longest time, like you know me, I'm obsessed with Todd McFarlane's Spawn.
Yeah.
And for the longest time my mom would get me these fucking comic books. I would just hand them to her at the Ingles or whatever, she'd buy them. And she was never hip to like the concept of Spawn and like what it was about. So I don't know what came over her, but one day she fucking like opened up one of the Spawn comics and started reading it, and then got all pissed and started reading another one. She was like, "What the fuck is this shit?" And then oh my god, it was well, it was traumatic, and it's kind of funny but not funny. But she like freaked out. 'Cause my mom is very religious, but not at the same time. Like, there's just certain things that scare the hell out of her. Like literally, like she feels the fear of God and certain things all of a sudden. And I guess Spawn was one of them. So she literally started a fire in the fireplace and threw all my comics in there, dude.
Oh,
yeah, dude. Yeah. Oh my god, it was crazy.
Damn.
Yeah. But moms be moms, What you gonna do?
Exactly.
What you gonna do? I think she later apologized for it. She was like, "Yeah, that kind of wasn't cool." I was like, "No, that."
I don't think my mom ever apologized for taking away my Marilyn Manson shit.
Because
like, she definitely took away a T-shirt and a CD. Like I came home from Christmas one year with like the Mechanical Animals CD, and my mom like found it in my CD notebook and was like, "Yoink, nope."
Oh, dude, my dad did the same shit. Sorry, we're getting kind of off the rails, but like my dad did the same thing. I had Marilyn Manson's Hollywood on CD, and like my parents are divorced, and I rarely ever saw my dad to begin with.
Sick album, by the way.
Like rarely ever saw my dad. I saw my dad maybe like twice, maybe 3 times a year. And one of those specific times, he came over to my house and he started going through my CDs, and he asked me if he could borrow my Marilyn Manson CD, and I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Never saw it again. And then the next time I mentioned it to the next time I saw him, which was probably 6 months later, I asked him about it, and he told me to my face that he threw it away.
Yeah. What a dick.
Oh well. But anyways, moving on.
Yeah.
We had a great conversation with Beau Brandon, catching up with another good friend of ours. So I hope you guys enjoy it, man. Here it is. Joining us now is a good friend of the podcast, the drummer of Withered, and also instructor at the School of Rock, Mr. Beau Brandon. How are you doing, brother?
I'm great, bro. How's it going?
That's a fun title to now have. Like you actually are a music instructor at the School of Rock. How did that happen, and how awesome is that?
I don't know, man. I made 1 million pizzas, and I decided to call it. I was done, and I was just like, let's make money from drumming instead. And yeah, no, dude, moving. I moved, and yeah, just different thing.
Have you met Jack Black?
No, dude, I've met Back Jack.
But it's safe to say that you live hardcore now, right?
Dude, it is. That's never changed.
Well, yeah, man. So let's learn some more about you. I know you personally. Ian knows you personally from working together all these years that we did. Right. But let's learn more about you. Where'd you grow up, and how'd you get into music?
Well, let's see. Yeah, I started playing music in El Paso, Texas. That was that was when I first got my first drum set when I was 12 years old. And I don't know, by 15, I think I was already jamming when I was in high school, jamming with some homies who later, with one of which was Mike Longoria, who ended up joining Withered in Atlanta. So,
oh wow! Wait, back in El Paso?
Yeah, that's how we met. We grew up together in El Paso. Yeah.
Wow. So did you guys both move to Atlanta together?
No, he moved there in 2000, and I was around 2004. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
now, Withered wasn't your first band, though, was it?
No, Mike Longoria and I had a band called Waited, and Dylan Kilgore. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In El Paso or
that was in Atlanta. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you didn't have any bands or anything in El Paso?
We did. It was my first band. Was in high school, and we were called Torque.
Nice.
Torque.
Yeah. Nice, dude. Put some torque in it.
It was great when everybody was partying and getting laid. We were just like sitting in a weird, weird emptied out house.
I mean, dude, you put some torque into partying and getting laid too, buddy.
I put the years in later, bro. Let me tell you.
But yeah, so I mean, obviously, Withered is a metal band. Was metal always been your passion? Were you into other music growing up, or has that always been what you've kind of sort of listened to?
Man, yeah. I remember being a kid, and I was like preteen and watching like, I'm old, man. I was watching like the original like Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior like wrestling matches,
Hell yeah.
And you just like jump off the couch and go nuts, like acting wild and crazy. And my friend growing up, Brandon Baker, we found a couple of cassette tapes like on the side of the road, like fell out of somebody's car or whatever. I don't know, man, but it was Skid Row, Slave to the Grind, and Megadeth, Rust in Peace.
Hell yeah.
And we just like...
So was that your first exposure to it?
Yeah. We started listening to that, and just like it made us like jump off the furniture and like have those same like feelings that,
Yeah, now you're really wrestling. Now you're really giving the elbow drops.
Dude.
Did that end up becoming like your entrance music when you guys are like wrestling?
I mean, dude... Yeah, I would. If I did, I would. Yeah, I would definitely play some Skid Row.
Absolutely.
No, but it was, that just kind of like opened the door, I guess. And I kind of like, honestly, like when Headbangers Ball used to be on back in the days, like I remember seeing that, and that was kind of like where I saw my first like Slayer videos and, just all that stuff, man. The Cannibal Corpse videos, all the cool shit. So, yeah, and I got into it then, and that was it. I guess it was just like, yeah, this is my stuff. I like this.
Watching Ricky Rat?
Dude, Ricky Rackman.
Ricky Rackman, bro.
Rackman, bro.
Yeah.
So what is growing up in El Paso like? I don't know a whole hell of a lot of people from El Paso. What is there even to do?
Dude, at the drive-in, bro. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only other
Absolutely.
band I know.
Yeah.
That's the
And I think
literally the only other people I know that, and I guess Eddie Guerrero claimed to be from there at some point.
That's right. That is correct. And so Rey Mysterio Jr., I think too, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
But no, man, it's a little like border desert town. So we just, I don't know. I think we just got sucked into playing music, just because there really wasn't anything to do, like other than everybody would go get drunk in Mexico in Juarez. So
Yeah, didn't you say that your backyard was literally only a couple feet from the Mexican border?
you know, when we moved into like a subdivision, we were the last house on the block, but I mean it shares the border with Juarez, and so it was like 20 minutes down the highway.
Hell yeah, that's fucking insane. What is it like being a teenager just going to party in Mexico for the weekend?
Dude, wild. Just
Yeah?
just unreal. It was crazy. I mean, this was in like, we like to say like it was in the 1900s. Let's put it that way. So it was kind of wild, man. We used to go over there and just have a lot of fun, and
Yeah, dude.
as teenagers do.
All right.
Yeah, man.
So let's talk about the journey. So how did you get, well, first of all, other than that, like how was your high school years? When did you end up moving out of El Paso too? Because I know you moved to Chicago at some point, right?
I was in Illinois. I was like in Springfield, Illinois, but
Okay.
a couple hours south. But yeah, just through high school, I guess. And that was, a lot of my friends were like older and had graduated or dropped out or whatever. And so my last couple years of high school were just like, luckily I was making music. And so I had that to do. But outside of that, it was just like, I don't know. I just didn't really have anything going on other than that. And we kind of stopped playing around, when I was like 18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
And yeah. So
Do you think music in a way was something that kind of kept you out of trouble? Because usually small towns like that, there's nothing else to do but fucking get in trouble or, find some kind of creative outlet to make sure that you go somewhere,
Yeah, no, I think so. Like it was like a rush to be able to start booking our own shows and like playing out in the city.
Mm-hmm.
We just spent so much time in Eric's like grandpa's old like carriage house behind his house.
Mm-hmm.
It was full of all his like grandpa's old shit, and we gutted it and put our gear in there and like wrote a couple records worth of songs and just started playing out. And that was it. And we stopped playing when I was like 18 and 19, and then that's when Mike moved to LA or Atlanta, and I kind of joined. I went over there in 2004. We hadn't talked in years, and he hit me up and was just like, yo man, like I'm in Atlanta, like you should come visit, we should jam. And I was just kind of like not doing anything at the time, and I was like, all right.
Yeah, so it was just
Let's
that
go.
simple, like fuck it, I'm just gonna move to Atlanta.
It was, I mean, I went for a week and like jammed and watched and saw an In Flames show at the Old Masquerade. Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And so that was like that was the first thing I ever did in Atlanta. It was like go see a show upstairs at Old Masquerade.
That's fucking sick, dude. I love that.
And then that was in
That's
like
amazing.
October or November of 2003, and then
Yeah.
I moved there to Atlanta in 2004 February. And
Hell yeah, man.
I just
That's
moved
what's up.
up to Ohio, but Atlanta
So I
for
know
20 years.
You said that finding those cassette tapes on the side of the road were your first exposure to that kind of music, but what do you think your biggest metal influences were? What do you think made it click for you that this is the direction I want to go in? Did it start as early as Skid Row, or?
I mean, no, I guess it took a couple years for it to sink in, but it was bands like, I don't know, like the classics, like Pantera, Metallica, like all that stuff. Like, I don't know, I started hearing that,
The big four,
Megadeth
big three.
and Slayer.
Mm-hmm.
And then it like morphed into like Cannibal Corpse and Deicide. And then I became like obsessed with that kind of like extreme drumming. And I was
Yeah,
just like,
man.
whoa, want to.
Because metal is such a spectrum. Like you can tell somebody, like there can be two people that are both into metal music, but they can be on completely different sides of the spectrum when it comes to metal. So it's wild. You can have somebody who thinks, Avenged Sevenfold is the greatest metal band, or somebody who's really fucking into Cannibal Corpse. It's such a broad audience, and I think that's also what's so beautiful about it, is that it really can appeal to almost anybody.
Yeah, and it's
also
and it can kind of
though.
Yeah, it's cool to like find out people's tastes and that, like where they like how far they like sway, down the like the death metal ladder. Like how far do you go before you're like, all right, that's like too much.
Well,
too much.
Speaking of which, if you could boil it down to just some of your top influences, let's say if we could do like a top 5 of your favorite albums that kind of steered you to this direction, what do you think they would be?
Oh shit.
I know it's a loaded question. It's hard to think of on the spot too.
Yeah. No, I can say like definitely like Sepultura Arise.
Okay.
That one was like probably one of the biggest for me. Like that got me into wanting to play drums, was like listening to Igor play drums on that record. That and and Justice for All by Metallica. That record really got me like fired up when I was young.
Are you the Injustice guy? I'm more of a Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning guy. I do love Injustice, but
I kind of went Injustice for All and like worked my way back through the like older records. So
it's also fun too, because that was Charlie's one of Charlie's Charlie's big influences too.
I think Charlie said Ride the Lightning.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah,
I mean that's pretty untouchable record. Yeah. That's a close second. If
I mean, we all know that Saint Anger is their best album.
Yeah, dude. Yes, my ears are still ringing from that snare drum sound, dude.
Yeah. But we got 2 out of there. What's some more?
Let's see. I don't know. I guess what kind of like I kind of like got into black metal at an early age too. I was just like intrigued by it. So I was listening to like Emperor and stuff like that, and it was just like. So I had this like wide spectrum, and then I kind of got into like death metal, and I listened to like Cannibal Corpse and Deicide, and those were big records. Like, the like
is Emperor what got you into like that sound essentially?
They were one of the first ones that like that like got me interested in the sounds of it all, because it was just totally different. Like
For me, as funny as it is to admit, because a lot of people don't consider this real black metal, but I never would have dove into black metal if I had never heard Cradle of Filth.
Dude, I agree with that. And you know what? Like I'll say like that was also a big influence for me was Nicholas Barker, who is one of the like best, seriously, one of the best metal drummers.
Incredible, dude. Yeah.
And he's having like health problems right now. So like,
that's terrible.
If you get a little something to donate, go donate it to the rock solid dude Nicholas Barker, like such a sick drummer.
People have always given me shit like, oh, you like that's just like fucking polished black metal. And it's like, no, it's really not. Like if you listen to their early stuff, and also like it was because of finding Cradle of Filth, the guys that wear the face paint and the super gothed out gear that like introduced me into Emperor, introduced me into Immortal, shit like that. Like I dove into black metal because of them. It was kind of like, it's kind of like diet black metal, but then you like, because of that, you get into the real shit, And I feel like it's that way with a lot of bands.
Yeah. I mean, I'd never heard anything like that back in those days.
Exactly.
So it was just like, I kind of like gravitated towards.
So how did you go? Like, how did you discover like Emperor essentially, like going from like Skid Row and that kind of thing? Was it like was it a homie that was like, oh hey, check this?
Yeah, dude, like that. I was into it already and like finding new stuff, but like I had older friends and they were like, I'm like right under the age of like the old school like metal like tape trading days. Where like people would be trading cassette tapes like over to Sweden and like sending music around, and like it was this really like awesome sharing of like of just music between people. And so like my 2 homies Kyle and Carlos would like they would like trickle me down like and give me little like tapes to listen to and be like, oh, you gotta listen to this, you gotta listen to the shitty one first and then we'll listen to the good one. Like,
dude, thank God for Kyle and Carlos, bro.
They were total like like gatekeepers, you know?
I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
another
yeah.
thing that kind of like got me into black metal too, is because a lot of black metal you listen to, it literally sounds like somebody took one of those like cassette tape recorders that you would see in kindergarten and just hit record and just played it live in their bedroom and then
Yeah.
released it to the masses. And I always thought that was so beautiful that like quality didn't matter. It was just the passion and like getting your music out there that was so fucking cool to me, you know? And also like I'm not big into religion or anything like that, but the satanic imagery has always been so fucking cool to me, and it's always been so alluring. Like the darker the better, you know? So like
Yeah.
when I found a music genre that was basically, you know, centered around that, I thought it was so fucking cool, you know?
Yeah, it was like they were like answering the like, you know, because like the death metal scene had become a little bit polished and it wasn't
Yeah.
as raw anymore, and so that was their like kind of like, you know, back at like American death metal, and so they
Take
like kind of like
this.
they took it like they're like, oh, you think they're talking about like horror movies? We're gonna like talk about like real fucking evil.
Do you like
Burning
horror movies, though?
churches.
What's that?
Are you a horror movie guy?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I
Yeah?
love the classics. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
I don't
What are
like
your-
have a huge collection, but I've seen a
No?
bunch.
Do you draw inspiration from horror movies at all? I mean, I know that you're the drummer, so you probably don't write any of the lyrics or anything like that. Or maybe you do. I don't fucking know. But-
Dude. I just want to be the best fucking metal drummer of all time.
Yeah?
That's what I think of when I sit down every time. I'm just like,
Well,
I have to do
they-
better.
Considering your profession now, they do say that those that can't do teach. So
Damn. Yeah, that's true. No.
But also, if you watch Beau when he plays drums, I don't know. There's something about when Beau plays, he makes it just look like it's like the easiest thing he's ever done in his life.
at the same
Like,
time, I've never
literally,
seen
like-
anybody hit drums harder than Beau hits them.
And
Sick.
I mean, almost and is fast.
Yeah.
'Cause, like,
yeah.
And he's literally just like, "What's up, dude?
Yeah.
How you doing?"
Oh man, it's
All right,
you
cool.
know, it's there's a lot
Just
of
locked in.
there's-
You're locked in.
there's a lot of greats out there, you know, a lot of great drummers, and I just try to do my thing and have my own style, but like I definitely wear my influences on my sleeve when I play, and
oh
like,
yeah, of course.
Gene Hoglan, Nicholas Barker, like Alec, you know, Igor Cavalera, like all these
Mhm.
like really, really rock solid drummers. And then the list grew from there. I got more into music. I moved to Atlanta and got into hardcore, and all, you know, I started listening to everything and took influence from
Yeah.
all over
And
the place.
speaking of influences, at one point you were in a Cro-Mags cover band. Did you draw a lot of influence from punk rock and hardcore as well? Was that something you were into previously before moving into Atlanta?
Yeah, that's kind of like when I got there, I started working at a pizza place, Little Five Pizza, back in the
Mhm.
day, like, and all the old school, like, you know-
R.I.P.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Once
bro.
again,
OG.
Almost everywhere we mention is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild, man. It's wild. But yeah, that was, you know, as soon as I visited there, like I think we went and got lunch when I was in town, and I was like, I gotta work here. Like, this is the spot I
Yeah.
want to work. Yeah. So, but all the old school punkers and stuff like showed me the way. You know, they were just like, oh, you like metal, like listen to this, like, you know, and they showed me all the cool shit. So, and it just opened up my eyes to all sorts of different stuff that I had no idea. Cro-Mags being one of them. Enough so that I fell in love with it and like we played like 2 or 3 shows. It was so sick. Yeah, it was.
That's what's up,
Hell
man.
yeah.
It was so sick. Yeah. Yeah.
So, going back to Withered, I know you said that Withered technically started in El Paso. How long has Withered been around now?
Well, Withered started in Atlanta, but
Oh, okay.
we
So
joined.
the guy
no,
from
Mike,
Withered is in
yeah,
El Paso.
like
Okay.
Mike and I had a band Waited, and then we both we both joined Withered in 2006, 2007.
Oh, almost 20 years now.
Dude, yes, 18
Wow,
years
okay.
and counting,
Wow.
bro. Yeah, it's sick, man. We actually
So it was weighted 2 mics and a bow.
no, it was just a 3-piece. It was me, Mike Longoria, and Dylan Kilgore. Yeah.
Oh, okay, Dylan. Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, but you know, in 2006, I think, yeah, like, the original drummer Wes and the original bass player Greg of Withered like quit around the same time. Just
Mhm.
family and just different things. Life happens, you know.
Yep.
And yeah, we were already like homies. I think we were sharing a rehearsal space at the time anyway, and it just kind of like made sense for me to try out. It
Yeah.
just kind of like, yeah, and so like Wes gave me the approve, like, you know, like was like, yeah, like that dude could do it, you know, kind of thing. And it was like Mike was also interested, and it was kind of like a package deal. You know, it was just like,
Yeah.
well, I'll join if like you let this dude join, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
But also at
So
the same time, I see that happen so often. You know, you see band members come and go because life gets in the way. You know, you got to get a real job. You got to move on to this, that, and the other. But you know, has there come has there come times with you? I mean, 18 years is a long time to be doing one band. Has there ever been any moments where you contemplated like maybe I need to move on? Maybe I need to really, you know, go out there, get a real job, do the family thing, anything
yeah,
like that?
yeah, definitely. We've had many struggles through the years. You know, like we were actually gonna call it in 2016.
Oh wow.
You know, way back then, and yeah, you know, just the love of music and wanting to create, and like having Withered as like a space to put that energy into and create in is like, I don't know, it's an amazing thing. And yeah, we've been through a bunch. You know, I've been with Mike Thompson, the original member, now, you know, like for, yeah, since '07 we've been working together, like
Hmm.
friends, business partners, like the works, like however you want to look at it. Like I've done everything. He's like a brother of mine,
That's
you know.
beautiful.
And Dan and Rafe too. You know, like our current lineup. Yeah, like we've all known each other for many years, played in many bands, and just done a lot. And now it's cool to just be, you know, working together. It's
Now,
sick, man.
also being together for 18 years, there's definitely got to come times where there's disputes and disagreements and stuff. Have you guys learned along the way how to approach each other when this happen and just let it go? Like, um, how do you guys approach disagreements?
Yeah, no, I don't know, man. We're kind of like everything's on the table. I think we've been pretty open, and you know, Mike and I again have been working together for so long, and we've had many different members like through the years, and yeah, and so it's just kind of like, yeah, we're like like a collective effort, like, you know, everybody kind of has input, and we lay it all out on the table. I think that's like really the only way to get stuff done, um, and just like to have just that clear communication, and like, but it has to be Withered. You know, it can't just
Hmm.
like can't just come in with any riff or any style or part. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of, it's like it's gotta like
It has to have that sound. It
it's
has to
Yeah.
have
gotta
it
it's
all
gotta
sound.
like, yeah. And I don't know, man. It's an interesting process because we don't just like let any part into a song. And you know, we part of our deal is we've kind of carved our own way, and we do a bunch of different styles. Like we've been known for, you know, people consider us like genre bending, I guess, whatever you want to call, but like we're not death metal enough for the death metal guys, we're not black metal enough for the black metal guys, we're not grindcore enough, but we have elements of like all these things. And we do whatever we want, and we play whatever we want, and we always have done that. And so
And I think
like,
that's what you should do, man. And I
yeah,
think I don't think you need to really worry about so much of a genre as much as just like being proud of what you're putting out there. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
no, and that's it, just your integrity. And like, just, yeah, like a sacred space for us to create. So we it has to like meet that standard, whatever that is. Yeah. And it changes,
Yeah.
you know, it changes album to album. It's
Yeah.
such an interesting thing,
Well, of
man.
course. I mean, it's going to change. I mean, you said you've been together for 18 years. 18 years is a long time growing as individuals, much less growing as a
That
band.
exactly,
Like
exactly.
that's crazy.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
cool, man.
that's a crazy test of endurance for sure.
It's cool that we all still want to like have this space to let that, you know, creative energy go into. I don't it's I'm very grateful for it. Yeah.
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 But also 18 years as a band, what have some of the highlights been? I know you guys got to play with Danzig, you've played with Cannibal Corpse, you've got to meet some of your heroes along the way. I mean, that's got to be fucking amazing, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm never gonna. Yeah, it's an incredible experience. We're very lucky to have gotten in front of the audiences that we did, and play with the bands that we did, and still continue to do. You know, like it's tough, man. The music industry is wild, and it's tough. And um, Yeah, and life, like we've been talking about, like just organizing everything, making it all work through the years, and taking off time from work and family, and to
Yeah.
do touring and all of it, man. It's to
Yeah.
because there's so many parts involved. Like writing a record's one thing, but going out and performing it live and the preparation for that and the logistics behind all of it, and
As 4 dudes in a van.
yeah, exactly. And all the sacrifices that you gotta make,
And not
like
just that,
like your creature comforts.
Your singer's
and,
got like 3 kids, right?
no, actually, dude, yeah, his stepson is he's all grown up, and he's all out in Colorado right now. He's living with his dad out
Nice.
there. Yeah, so you know, uh, yeah, Dan has a daughter, but she's grown too, and I think she's out in New York.
Okay.
So we're
So
just
that has to make it somewhat easier going on the road, just a little bit.
It definitely can, absolutely. You can do it if you really want to do it. You can organize it. You can make it happen, but it does, you got to sacrifice something: time, family, money, comfort, whatever.
But now with you living out there, with you living out in Cleveland, and also how did you end up in Cleveland? Isn't that where you live? Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just south.
I mean, they both start with a C. It's the same fucking. Dude. Ohio's Ohio.
It's
just fucking
all
Ohio.
right here.
Yeah. It's Ohio. But Columbus, I'm sorry. How did you end up moving out there? And also, how does Withered still work with you living remotely away from everybody else?
Right. Good question. Yeah. Well, yeah, my girlfriend has a fellowship year at OSU and in psychology, and she is just we're here. We matched here, and it was just kind of one of those things. Didn't ever have a reason to leave Atlanta until it happened. And yeah, I'm lucky that it all worked out the way it did, and I was able to get work out here and work in drumming and like in being an instructor. And yeah, it's pretty
At
sick.
the School of Rock.
Yeah.
The School of Rock, dude.
Yes.
There's a movie about where you work, dude.
Yeah, dude. I get to teach a bunch of kids like AC/DC songs, and we're actually this season on next Tuesday I get to start Gods of Metal class that we're doing. Yeah, and we're doing all
those kids better keep up.
Yeah. There's me and this other dude that worked there, that this dude Grant. He's in a couple of sick bands out here. Shout out Grant, shout out Denim Cobra.
Nice.
And Fatal Contempt.
Nice. Hell yeah.
But yeah,
so living out there, how does Withered still work out?
Dude, yeah, that too, man, right? Like that was kind of a big deal. Like, how are we gonna make this all go down? But it just so happened like we're overdue for a record.
Right.
So if you know anything about our band, it takes us years and years to get a record out. So we've gone like 6-7 years between records, I think.
I was about to say, I've known you for like almost 15 years, and I think Withered has put out 2 records since I've met you.
Yeah, that's it. We have. Yeah, so we're well overdue, bro. But so we kind of we're on that thing, and yeah, I got my like e-kit back here.
Okay.
And I can, Mike and I've got a program we use where we can link up just like this on a Zoom meeting, and I got a MIDI cable. I run it out into my software.
Oh, so you're a Zoom veteran right now.
Bro, we've been doing some work. But it's sick, man. So we can plug right into his digital audio workspace. He's got like Cubase, I think, and we just go right into that. And we both have like drum software, so I can send him my MIDI signal, and he can like open up the drum software on his end and plug it in. And
damn,
it's like gone are the days of just like recording on a phone, like we just record our riffs in the road. Like we can do it, and it's just like this, and it lines up everything. We just have a Zoom meeting and like go over ideas and in real time and like figure shit out. That's wild.
Cool,
like
man.
Technology is,
Look how far we've come.
It's insane, man. Like to be able to do this, and like again, like so grateful that we can, and like that it's the timing of everything, and being able to like yeah, just being able to have the technology and like know how to get it done.
Yeah.
So
And now another thing I want to touch on is actually instructing at the School of Rock. Is working and being a teacher something you've always wanted to do? Have you found it rewarding, fulfilling, teaching everyone, or is it just something that kind of fell into your lap?
it is. It is. I was, the move came up, and I don't know, man. You all know, we've all been grinding for years
Hmm.
in kitchens and whatever else, man. And I don't know, an opportunity came up, and I kind of just like went for it. I was like, well, if I'm gonna do this career change and like surround myself with drumming like as a whole, and just be more a part of it and participate more and be more active and available, like I just gotta like go for it. And I was able to just, yeah, link up with them. It's a cool spot, dude. Like it's wild. My kids are awesome. Like, yeah, I mean, right now I work at two places teaching, and dude, I probably got like 30 students right now
Hmm.
spread out. So
Wow.
it's a
That's
lot,
a
man.
lot.
It's a lot to
That's
keep
wild.
track
Yeah,
of. And
that's crazy.
dude, it's cool, man. It's rewarding. It's
So at the end of the session, like when these kids like learn these songs, do they get to have a show and stuff?
well, that's School of Rock is amazing for that, because it's like
Is that
it's
like
a
the
group.
goal?
Yeah. It's like we make bands basically. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
everybody learns.
Is there like a competition band? Like, are you competing against another
well, there's like
instructors group?
there's multiple bands like per season. So we'll do like seasons, like 2 seasons a year. And so there's like Rock 101, which is like the young kids.
Hmm.
And then
Okay.
below that there's like two groups for like the little kids. And then it goes like opening act, and then like performance groups who actually go out and play shows uh and stuff like that. We book them shows, and then we do like an actual house band, which is like, that's, you have to try out for that. And then the house band gets to like go play like big like shows and stuff like that, and they're like representing our school. And then
Okay.
we do like adult bands. Right now we have 2 full adult bands, and it's kind of wild, man. It's really cool. And you just basically teach songs in private lessons, and then they go jam it out like once a week for a
Yeah,
couple
wow.
hours
Yeah,
in the room
yeah.
together, and they all put it together and like go play shows. It's a really cool way to learn. Like,
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
when I first started taking drum lessons when I was like a kid, my drum teacher had like a rubber pad drum set with like cigarette burns and like dead bugs and
Oh my
like coffee stains and all this.
Yeah.
And
Hell yeah.
like now, and we get like all this really cool, like you can't really
Like
see,
nice equipment,
yeah, you really can't see my setup right now, but like I got another drum set right here out of frame, just like this one. So if I ever get down to doing lessons out of my own space, I'm all set up for that too. But
Nice.
it's a really cool, like, getting like 2 drum sets together and like having that experience, like actually being able to play a real drum set with like, I don't know. It's like, it's really cool to offer that nowadays. Like
Nice.
what you can do,
Yeah.
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 Really cool.
And now I know you don't have children of your own, but has working with children become like being kind of a mentor role to these kids' lives? Has it become rewarding, something you ever saw yourself doing before? And like, how does that feel stepping into that role?
Dude, good. Yeah, good question, man. It's been wild. Like no, I don't have kids. Yeah. And the youngest person in my family that I'm like see is my niece. But um but yeah, so it's wild coming from like working kitchens and just like being in bands and doing the whole thing, like to be in this situation now, and yeah, just involved in like all these kids' lives and doing these weekly lessons and stuff. It's, you get to know them, you get to like hang out, and it's like you just get to be like the cool like drum teacher. You just
Yeah.
they get to come learn their favorite songs, and yeah, it's just awesome. And I'm just like hanging out, like I get to be me, and I just get to like talk to these kids. And
Is it
Just be
kind of
like-
nice to step out of the grisly, angry kitchen lifestyle to where you can just be gentle and like lead somebody and teach them things?
dude, it does feel that way. It feels like kind of like a coach mentality, and just when they're, because you gotta kind of meet them where they're at. Kids, they might come in, had a bad day, like I don't know, man. You gotta kind of like just talk to them, be open, and like yeah, just like teach them something. Just be like, cool, we're here playing drums, so let's do that. You
Yeah,
know,
man.
like,
Yeah.
and then it's anywhere from 7 years old all the way up. You know, I got a like 65-year-old student, like,
Yeah.
and everything in
That's
between.
amazing.
Yeah,
And
so
I feel like that's very important because I think at some point you start to realize the impact that you have on their life and it becomes so much more personal.
bro, my kids like give me cards and stuff, like hand drawn cards, like thanking
Oh,
me
that's
for
so sick.
like, dude, it's like,
so sick, dude.
bro, start the waterworks, bro. I'm just like,
But also, like, then you have the other side of the spectrum. So, like, is this like 65-year-old dude? Like, is this like his first time ever playing drums? Like,
yeah, dude, retired. Just like someone
Wow.
lent him a drum set. One of his dudes, like
amazing.
friends, you know, or colleagues moved to England and like left a drum kit behind and was like, hey, I'm not gonna use that. And he's like, well, I'm retired. I'm gonna start playing drums. And now he's just like jamming in the band and plays in another band. And yeah,
That's sick.
Nice,
cool.
dude.
He's been playing for like a year and a half, but he's just like, he's killing it.
And
Hell
you've
yeah,
taught
man.
him like since day one?
Since I moved here in June of last summer, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I started
Nice,
straight
nice.
away. Yeah, man, it's
That's
been
fucking awesome, man.
it's been crazy, dude. Like teaching kids, like just like I said, like AC/DC, and you know, I've got to squeeze a little metal in there. Well, we're doing the Gods of Thunder season, so
Yeah.
this is my shot to like to
Do you
to
have
teach
like
some
a
metal.
do you have like a playlist of like
Yeah.
what you're allowed of what you're allowed to play?
Yeah, like I think for the season you got to do like you know, mostly like 75% of it has to be like on their like database, and then you can
Okay,
throw in a
okay.
couple extra bangers.
Nice.
Now,
Yeah.
is the School of Rock directly related to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Dude, it's wild. Like they're all over. There's a bunch of them,
Okay.
and
Yeah, there's one up north, up 285, I think, or something around there.
yeah, it's kind of wild. Like they're kind of spread out, and it is 100% like, you know, that same format. Like you know, it's really crazy. So they have their own like curriculum, you know, but it's all like it's really thorough, and it's put together really well, and it's all just designed to teach kids how to play songs, teach people how to play songs, like not only teach them music and reading notes and note values and stuff like that, but like just learning songs like straight away. And
Yeah,
there's
how to
like
play in a band.
yeah, and how to like all of it, like stage presence
Yeah.
and like what, you know, like all of it, how to manipulate your gear, the whole thing. So it's more than just like, yeah, teaching someone how to play an instrument. It's like giving them the confidence and like the group setting, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
like performance based learning. I've seen it with my own eyes. Like I can watch someone just improve so fast, like with the group. It's really incredible. Yeah.
So I'm sure this is an answer or a question you get to answer in class all the time. But if you had any advice on somebody starting out who wants to start a band and take it on the road and see how far they can get, what would you tell them, or what would you even tell yourself back then when you were first getting into bands?
Man, I don't know. You know, I just you have to. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and you have to just put in those hours, and you gotta. There's a lot. You gotta do a lot. You gotta have people kind of looking out and helping you, and you gotta have a lot of connections and just be proactive.
Yeah.
And you gotta get out there.
Because especially a band, it's not something you can do alone. Like you touched on so many times, 18 years together, you guys got to be on the same page, and whether you agree, disagree, you got to work it out. And
yeah.
you know,
And the bands that are out there getting it done are hard working. You know, they might not be the best bands in the world. You might not, you know, but they're out there working, man. They're putting in the hours. They're putting content together. They're, you know what I mean? They're showing up. They're playing their shows.
That's why I've touched on it in almost every episode. But that's why it's so hard for me to like diminish a band, because like if I see them on TV, if I see their records in stores, if I hear their music on the radio, whether I like it or not, that means that they either A, got really lucky and have really fucking wealthy parents, or they worked their fucking ass off. You know what I'm saying? So I can't take that away from anybody.
It's all, you know, it's a lot, man. It's like booking agents and label support and, you know, just hard work ethic and throw a little luck, throw a little like, you know, just
I mean, there is
timing,
networking. There has to be networking
perseverance,
involved.
and everything. It's just like it's all like a little stew of stuff that has to line up to be able to do it, especially like for a living and to gain popularity and get out there. It's like you just gotta work, man, and you gotta be seen. And it's a lot. There's a lot of moving parts and a lot of people involved in it once at the end of the day. And so it's and you can't just like sit down. I can't just like sit down and play drums. Maybe when I first started, but now it's like I'm just always trying to find ways to help. And Mike does so much of the organization of like of just networking,
everything.
Yeah, Mike is the man. It's his band, and he's got all the connects and main songwriter, and just it's only original member. So I do what I can to just kind of like help out, but you got to know how to record. You got to know so much now as a musician to be able to like get shit done.
Yeah.
Are you and Mike the longest two members of Withered now?
Yeah. He's it's 20 years. The band formed in 2003, and then actually 20 years to the first record, Memento Mori. It's on it. Yeah, it's 20 years this year. So
damn.
Yeah, it came out in 2005 on Life Force Records.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. So hopefully we're gonna get some shows going. We got some tours in the works right now.
That's what I was gonna ask you about, if you had some tours coming up.
We got a couple things lined up that that might happen. I'll be in Atlanta in April, actually.
I know.
Sick.
We're playing a show at with Vastum from the Bay Area. Sick.
Is that at the
band. Earl? That's at the Atlanta Utility Works.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Down in
right up
East
the street.
Point. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So
Hell yeah.
that one's gonna be sick. That's April 11th, I think. And then we got some other stuff that we're kind of like in the hat for, just waiting to see if it lines up. And we're trying to write a record and all the stuff, man. We're trying to be present this year and make some shit happen. Yeah.
So, if you could boil it down before we let you go, if you could boil it down to like one crowning moment of Withered, what would you say is a time where you just kind of like looked at where you were and you're like, man, this is fucking nice. Like I've kind of made it.
I will say we had a little tour bus run back in from about 2008 to 2012. We had an amazing booking agent back then, and he was able to pull some strings for us and get us on some really high profile tours like that Danzig tour, and and so Dan Rosenblum, what an amazing human being. And we had to pay our way. It's expensive to get on the bus, but we were able to kind of work our way onto the bus a couple of those tours back in those days. And not having to drive in the van and having like catering and like
having a driver,
playing big shows. We got to play some of our biggest shows on that Danzig run were
Speaking of
4,000 people.
I wanted to bring this up here because I feel like people have this common misconception of Danzig because of what the public knows about him and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But you've told me a specific instance when you were on tour with Danzig where he stood up for you and all the other opening bands, and you gained a massive amount of respect for him. First thing first, like first sound check of the tour. I'm just standing in the crowd and just on the floor, like watching their sound check, and hadn't seen Danzig yet, and Glenn, he came out like he came out to do the sound check. All the instruments had been checked, and he came out, I shit you not, leather jacket, no shirt. Hell yeah.
Leather jacket, no shirt, shades on, and just like walked to the stage, like did his like mic check, got everything like tuned up, and he kind of looked around, and he literally was like, hey, we need to move all this stuff about 5 feet back. There's no room for Withered up here.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And his crew like literally moved the whole stage setup back a couple feet. So
nice.
so that we could get more room.
Yeah.
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 It was sick, dude.
That's awesome.
We got to meet him a couple times, and you know, he brought us donuts on the bus, dude.
And I guess
Marduk.
because of that, there's
Yeah.
really nothing you can say bad about Glenn, because say what you want to about him or not, but like he really stuck up for the opening act, and I feel like that's amazing.
Dude, he's a good man. Yeah, he paved the way for a lot of musicians, and he's, you know, you can't like deny his importance in the music scene, man. Like
Absolutely.
in the metal and like hard, you know. Yeah, I would call that metal back in the Misfits days and everything, man. Like he's huge, man. He's a huge he paved the way for a lot of people.
But isn't he also like a huge dude?
Dude.
Like, isn't he like a big dude?
Fully,
Well, he's
yeah.
like my height, but he's very
ripped.
Is he
he's
really
very wide,
ripped?
dude. Yeah,
Ripped, dude.
I think me and Danzig are like the exact same height.
Bro,
That's crazy.
he, you know,
That's funny.
it was a wild run. We were super stoked to be on that one. That one was like jam packed with cool bands. So we were super lucky to be on that run.
Hell yeah.
But dude, yeah, man, those are all good times. Every time we go out, it's a good time. You know, it's just to still be able to like do what I love to do. And yeah, after all these years dude, I don't take it for granted one bit.
Nice.
I'm always down to go play some shows.
Absolutely, dude.
So you
As
better
should
be at that show in April.
I mean,
bro.
shit. You got fucking guest list spots? I mean, what are we looking at?
All right. Yeah, sure. Fuck it.
All right, cool. All right, you heard it here.
Shout out the guest list.
All right, well,
I'm just gonna walk up the street.
Yeah, right. That's right there.
yeah,
bro.
it's right down the street from his house. Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
Well, before we let you get out of here, man, anything you want to plug? Anybody you want to shout out? Anybody you want to call out? Anything?
Bro, just dude, you know, yeah, no, it's just it's sick, man. It's cool to just be able to talk about all the stuff that I've been involved in, and you know, music, and you know, I know that's like a lot of what you guys have been talking about and stuff, like, because it's I don't know, it's what shapes us as people, I think, like through
It
the
is,
years,
it's
and
true.
you never kind of let go of that stuff that like it's cool that like the like metal and the hardcore and the punk and the pop punk and all the stuff that even just us three like share, you know.
Yeah.
But all the
I think music
crossover
is-
and in between, and
Yeah.
it's just
Music is just such a personal thing. Like sometimes you hear a song for the first time and it's like experiencing falling in love the first time. It just hits you on such an emotional level. It's wild. I don't know how to explain it, but like music really does strike that chord with you. It's insane.
Man.
It really
cool.
is.
It's like
that's why I don't know what else to talk about. Like,
yeah,
music has been my entire life. You know.
It's bro, same. You know, I feel like we all like agree with that. Like, it's huge, man. It really like it's the soundtrack to our lives, you know, and it's just cool, man. It's cool to be a part of it, and like, whatever, man. If you're out there at the shows or, you know, whatever, working behind the scenes, hardworking bands on the road, like just. That's it, man. Like that's all we do. Like those shows got to go on, man. We got to keep the scenes going, man. Live music is alive and well, bro. And it's like go see the bands that you don't know about. Like go out, go check out some bands, dude. I've seen so many bands that I'm a lifetime fan of just on a whim, like going out randomly and like seeing a band and like, you know, having my like mind blown, bro. That can still happen.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, yeah.
So it's
Absolutely.
important. Just go out to the shows, like support live music, support bands in any way you can, you know, buy their merch, whatever, man. Like, just, I don't know, just say what up, just reach out and be like, yo, your music's sick. Like, I'm just saying hi. Like, just participate, you know, like there's a bunch of hardworking bands out there, like, you know,
Very hard work.
and then a lot behind the scenes too. There's a lot to put it all together, you know. So yeah, man, just like shout out to all the hardworking motherfuckers in the music scene, in the metal scene.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, it was great catching up with you. Can't wait to see you again. If you're in the Atlanta area, make sure you catch Withered when they come here on April 11th, and also check their dates for their spring tour and keep an eye open for that new record they're recording.
That's
Thank you
right,
so
bro.
much,
Maybe
bro.
6 years from now, we'll see.
Maybe.
If you're lucky.
I'm gonna be 35 this year. I'm hoping to hear it by my 40th birthday.
Bro, I got riffs sent to me today, so we're working in the
Hell
moment.
yeah.
bro.
So you're halfway there, dude.
Yeah, hell yeah.
All right, man. Take it easy, Beau.
Sick. Thanks, guys.
All right. I told you guys that was a great interview. It's always great catching up with Beau. He's killing it out there. Can't be happy for him. Can't wait to see him when he comes to Atlanta. So make sure you guys come see them when they come here. Ian, you want to leave them with anything?
Yeah, as always, make sure you follow us on Instagram and YouTube. Make sure when you search your streaming platforms and whatever you're listening to, make sure you search This, That, and the Other with Joey and Ian. Again, that's This, That, and the Other with Joey and Ian. Thank you again, as always, for this episode today. Beau has graced us with a song from Withered. So we're going to play that at the end for you guys. So without further ado, here's Withered's song, Casting and Wait. Thank you, everybody.
All right, dude. What do you feel about some Turrock? Hell yeah.